Human life is often divided into four major phases: childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and finally old age. These four phases of human life are very appropriately compared to four seasons of the year. In a year, there are four seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So, spring is often compared to childhood. In spring, you have the leaves giving new buds emerging out of leaves on the trees. There is newness, there is freshness, there is beauty, there is growth. You enjoy the scene. So, this is all about spring, the beginning. There is growth, there is movement, there is liveliness, there is enjoyment. The same is the case with a child. A child speaks beautifully, everyone loves the company of a child. Whatever a child does or whatever it speaks, everyone enjoys it. The child is also growing, there is freshness, there is newness, there is movement. A child, you cannot stop it, it will go here and there, it will be continuously moving. So, in this way, spring and childhood are very appropriately compared. Unfortunately, there are some people, some children, for whom this beauty of childhood is not there. They have never experienced what it means to be a child. They have never experienced the beauty and the happiness associated with childhood. You might have seen small children working in a factory, small children working in some shop or some restaurant. They are cleaning the utensils or running errands. These small children, at the age when they were supposed to play games and enjoy life, they were supposed to go to schools to get education, are working. They are just working to support their family. This is very miserable. For such children, happiness of childhood is gone. Happiness of childhood is lost. Happiness of childhood is stolen. They have never enjoyed happiness of childhood. For them, it is the same life. This is what is the topic in the lesson that we are going to start today. It is Lost Spring by XII. Here, by spring, the word spring here represents childhood, and lost spring means those people for whom the beauty and happiness of childhood is lost. They have never enjoyed it. This story actually is a combination of two narratives, two short stories, where we find two small children. At the age of them, it is just a school going age, but instead of going to school, their parents can't afford to send them to school to spend money on their education, because they are all living much below poverty line. These two children, they have started fighting for survival. They are very young in age, but the way they work, it is as if they are adults. XII, the author, let us first of all see what we get about her in this book at the beginning of the story. Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. About the author, XII was born in 1964. She was born in Rourkela. Rourkela is a city in Odisha. It is well known for its famous steel plants. And she spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. Her parents were both writers. XII began her career as a writer in India. She has been an editor and columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad, and has authored several books. The following is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. Here she analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. XII is the author, and she was born in Rourkela in the state of Odisha in India in 1964. She got her education in Hyderabad as well as in the United States of America. Both her parents are writers, and she has been an editor. She is also a columnist. A columnist is a person who writes columns for newspapers. Columns mean those articles that they write and they are published on newspapers. And she has written columns that were published in Indian newspapers as well as in foreign newspapers, and she has written several books. This particular one, Lost Spring, It's actually the original name of the original book is Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood, and in this she has made accounts of her experience with those poor people who, at the very early age, when they were supposed to go to schools, when they were supposed to enjoy childhood, are deprived of this happiness. For them, there is no happiness of childhood. For them, their beauty and happiness of childhood is stolen, it is removed, it is taken away, they are deprived of it, and for them, spring is lost. Here, spring, it implies childhood. For them, there is no spring in life. For them, there is no childhood in its true sense. So, this part, the lost spring, it is an excerpt. This is what is very common. You will get it in some other cases also, in case of some other writing. Excerpt is a piece of writing, a person taken from the original book. If a portion is taken from an original book, that portion is called an excerpt. This Lost Spring is an excerpt from her book. The name of the book is Lost Spring Stories of Stolen Childhood, and in this she analyzes the grinding poverty. Grinding, grinder mixture. It's a grinding machine. Grinder, what does it do? It grinds. It divides into pieces. It changes the whole thing. Grinding poverty means very acute poverty, very devastating poverty and traditions. Because of poverty, because of acute poverty, because of some traditional beliefs, how small children are made into a life of, they are brought into a life of exploitation. They are subjected to exploitation, they are subjected to child labor. So, these two stories we will find. Here we have two stories, and your job will be to study it so seriously that you will find that in both the stories, the major character are young boys, small children. They are the same in the sense that they are all sufferers. They live in very poor conditions, but there are some major differences. What is the difference? Yes, suffering and pain and unhappiness and sadness and tragedy are common in both the stories. These things are common to both the major characters in both the stories, but yet there is a difference. What is the difference? This you will have to find out. Let us start the first story then. The first story is named Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. And before you start the story, like all other lessons, here also you have some important phrases that are given, and these phrases you have to find their meanings. When you find them in the text, you have to infer their meanings. See, there are phrases looking for: slog their daylight hours, roof over his head, perpetual state of poverty, dark heart melts, impose the baggage on the child. Looking for, I think this is very easy, you can get it. So, let us start the first story. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. There is a quotation, you see. It means these words are spoken by someone. These words are spoken by the main character in this story. And what is garbage then? Garbage, it is the heaps where there are rubbishes. From your home, when you throw away rubbish, you throw away those useless things, and they are heaped somewhere. Municipality people come and they take all the rubbish, all the garbage that you heap in front of your home in some kind of containers, and they come every morning and they take it, and they then make a heap of it somewhere. So, these are garbage. Garbage means rubbish or those useless things. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. This is the headline of the first story. Why do you do this? I asked Sahib, whom I encounter every morning, scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. Sahib left his home long ago. Set amidst the green fields of Dhaka, his home is not even a distant memory. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes, his mother tells him. That's why they left, looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. See how the story begins. The story begins with an interrogative sentence. This is the art of writing. Who is this? Why do you do this? Who is this you? To know this, the name of this one, you will get it after a while. Why do you do this? With a question, the story begins. This is the technique. Many authors start their writing in this way to create interest. Why do you do this? I ask Sahib, whom I encounter every morning. Encounter. This encounter is a kind of meeting. When you meet someone, come in face to face with someone unexpectedly. You don't want such kind of meeting. The encounter is often used for war. When there is a war, or even when the military, the army, for example, army had an encounter with the miscreants, with the terrorists. So terrorists came and attacked the army. Army also fought back. This is an encounter. Encounter means an unexpected meeting, a meeting which is very tough, a meeting which you do not expect, which you are not willing to have. Here the author has used the word encounter for the meeting that she has. Interestingly, Anis Jung, the name appears to be a man's name, but Anis Jung is a woman. So here interesting thing is that Anis Jung says that I asked Sahib whom I encounter. Encounter means I meet him, but why is the word encounter here? Encounter possibly is used because the kind of meeting that the author has with this boy or such boys, these kind of meetings are not happy meetings, because the author cannot help them. She is very sad at seeing the miserable life of these people. So such a meeting is not a happy meeting. Such a meeting is not expected. It is something she doesn't feel happy with. She doesn't like it. That's why she uses the word encounter. It means I meet, whom I encounter every morning. And what does this boy do at the time when the author meets him? At that time he is scrounging for gold. Scrounge means to look for. You must have noticed small children, they are looking near roads or in some garbage heaps. They look for something. They may get some used up things, for example a bag or a pen or a bucket or a jug, and they may sell these things to those people who buy those kind of things. They may get some amount of money. These things they may get 5 rupees a kilo or 3 rupees a kilo. So they scrounge. Scrounge means to look for something that you get when someone shows some kind of passion towards you. Out of passion, out of love, someone gives you something, or you secretly, like a thief, you take away some things. You don't bother about who the owner of these things are. You just take it. This kind of looking for things and getting the things, this is called scrounging. So when the author meets this boy, he is found scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. This boy is looking for something. What is it? The word that the author uses is gold. That whenever I meet him, where do I meet him? I meet him scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. Neighborhood means my area. In my area there are dumps, there are heaps of garbage. Those rubbish are thrown away here. There are heaps of such things, such rubbish things. And I found this boy looking for gold. Now the question is, if it is a heap of rubbish, if it is a heap of some garbage, some unwanted, some useless things, how come the child will find gold there? Is gold such thing that anyone may throw it along with your useless thing that you every day throw out of your home after your mother cuts vegetables or anything out of your home? When you throw away, you just throw it in the garbage dump. Is there any chance of gold going there? How come the child will find gold there? This word gold is used metaphorically. It doesn't mean gold that we know. Because for such children, whatever things, the very ordinary things that they get here in the garbage dumps, for them, these ordinary things are not ordinary things. It is these ordinary things on the basis of which they live their life. It is these ordinary things that provide them livelihood. So for these children, these ordinary things are no less valuable than gold itself. These ordinary things are as valuable to them, they carry as much significance for them as gold carries for common human beings. So for them, these things are no less than gold. Sahib left his home long ago. This is the Sahib. His name has come just now. The person to whom the author was speaking, this boy is named Sahib. He left his home long ago. Where is his home? Set amidst the green fields of Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. This boy's home was set, it is situated in the green fields. Amidst means in the middle of green fields in Dhaka. And they have not come many years ago. The author means this when she says that his home is not even a distant memory. It means the life at his home that he spent, that is not a very old thing. It is something very very recent. It is not a distant memory, it is a very close memory, it is very recent memory. This means they have not come from Dhaka to this place recently, many years ago, they have come only recently. There were many storms means cyclone, there were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. Sweep, you know, you are very familiar with the word sweep, sweeper, from this sweep you have got the word sweeper. Sweep, its past and past participle are swept. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes, his mother tells him. Yes, they had left their home in Dhaka. It is a nice place, it is a beautiful place, still their own native place they left. Why? Because there are many storms, frequent storms attacked them, they became victim at the hand of storms many times. So their homes and fields were destroyed, and so they left their home in Dhaka. That's why they left looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. So since they are homeless, they have no home, they have no means of earning money and running the family, they just roam about in the streets, in garbage dumps, whatever things, whatever rubbish they find, they just sell it and get some money, and somehow they just live their life. So for such poor people, even ordinary things that you find in garbage, these are as valuable as gold. That's why the word gold is used here. Now the question is, leaving Dhaka because of this storm, they have come to this big city. Where is this big city? The author has not told us. She has not mentioned it clearly that this particular city is the place where they are now living. Just the author is trying to increase your interest, to increase your suspense. After a while you will come to know. Immediately you are not getting it. I have nothing else to do, he mutters, looking away. You see, this is the answer the boy gives. What is the answer? I have nothing else to do. What is the question? Why do you do this? Question is asked, then there are some more sentences spoken, then now you are getting the answer. This is another technique of writing. Sometimes the authors write question, then answer, there is a conversation, there is a dialogue. But here you find question is asked at the very beginning. Then a description of the boy and why his family left their native place in Dhaka, this is given. Then comes the answer given by the boy. He says, I have nothing else to do. He mutters. Mutter means to speak in a low voice. When you speak in an inaudible voice, your sound is not clear. In this low voice, this boy says, I have nothing else to do. And when he replies, he is looking away. This is significant. The boy doesn't look at the eyes of the author, and he speaks in a low voice. What does this mean? This indicates that the boy is having very low confidence. If you have confidence, if you have courage, you will look at the face of the person you are speaking, you will look at their eyes, and you will speak in a clear voice. Two things indicate that the boy was having low confidence. Yes, poor people, no money, they are living a miserable life, they are supposed to have low confidence. So he is looking away, not able to look at the author's eyes, and he is just speaking in a very low voice. His reply is, yes, I do this, I scout these things, I just look around and I try to find something out of the garbage because I have nothing else to do. The author then says, go to school, I say glibly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. The author told at that time to the boy, go to school. And the author is admitting that when she said this thing, she said, I said glibly. G-L-I-B-L-Y. Glibly means not seriously. Just I said for the sake of saying. I did not think seriously what is the meaning of what I am saying. Just go to school. It's a style. Yes, people often say that, yes, these are the poor people, they are uneducated, they don't go to school. But the reality is that these people are living in a world where there is no sense, good sense is not there. These people are living in such poverty that they cannot think of sending their children to school. They do not have that much money also. Their priority is somehow to live, somehow to manage food. And the way the author said glibly, without any serious thought, she said, go to school. But when she told this to the boy, at the same time she said, realizing immediately, I told, go to school, but immediately I realized that my advice must sound hollow. This word hollow here, sound is used as a verb. That my advice sounds hollow, H-O-L-L-O, hollow means empty. My advice will make no sense, it will not carry any significance, it is just a hollow advice, it is an empty speech. And because for such people, for such a boy, how can he go to school? To go to school, his parents should first of all agree. They should enlist his name, enroll his name in the school register. They should pay fees. They should take the initiative. How can a small child choose to go to school? So when the author said go to school, she was not, firstly, she was not that serious about it. Without serious thought, she told it, and she herself immediately realized that my advice doesn't sound nice. It doesn't sound significant. It is a hollow advice. The author herself agreed. Then the boy said, there is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I'll go. See, the boy has some logic. In my neighborhood, in my area, there is no school. When they build one, well, there means he is referring to the government or to the people, just public, anyone. When a school is built, this is the meaning. If there is a school available in my neighborhood, I will go. There is no school, I have no chance to go. Then the author is again asking, if I start a school, will you come? Firstly, when she said go to school, the author herself was not that serious about it, and immediately she realized that such an advice is just an empty talk. Now when the boy said there is no school in my neighborhood, if there is a school, I will go. Now the author is asking, if I start a school, will you come? I ask, half joking. Half joking means, I know, just to test whether the boy is serious. He is saying, if there is a school, I will go. How much serious he is, how much sincere he is, to test it. The author, in a half joking way, in a half serious way, in a half joking way, she said, if I start a school, will you come? The boy said, yes. He said, smiling broadly. This smiling broadly is significant. This implies that the child actually wants to go to school. He knows that if you go to school wearing shoes and socks, and this will give you a new identity. It will tell the people that yes, you are a dignified child, you are not that ordinary, you are not a poor child. So he actually wants to go to school, but the situation is such that he cannot. And he said, yes, smiling broadly. What is this broad smile? Broad smile means the impact of his smile, the happiness. When he smiles happily, this happiness is evident, it is visible, it is seen on his whole face. In a very, he smiles broadly, his whole face indicates that he is really happy when he says yes. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? See, the author was not serious about this when she said, will you go if I start a school? But see, the boy, the small boy, small children, ordinary people, they consider other people to be of high level. This small boy thought this woman is educated, she is a dignified woman, she must be serious, she must be telling the truth. So when she told me that if she starts a school, whether I will go or not, I said yes, this means she will definitely do something in this direction. So next time when he finds the woman, he comes running up to her. He thought the author's statement to be genuine, to be serious, and he came up to her and said, is your school ready? It takes longer to build a school, I say. Embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. The author feels embarrassed. Embarrassed means she feels shame, she feels uneasy because she knew that she made a promise to the boy that if I start a school, will you come? But she did not take it seriously. That was not at all a genuine promise. She did not ever think of it. And now the boy has come and asked her, is your school ready? This means the small boy, he considered this woman to be a dignified woman, to be a woman of promise, and that definitely this woman will not break her promise. So the boy, out of his simplicity and his ordinary attitude, he just came and asked, is your school ready? The author felt embarrassed, she felt shame, and she knew that I made a promise, but it was not a genuine promise. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Abound in is a very nice word. Abound in means be in large number. Wild animals abound in Assam. It means in Assam there are many wild animals. Tea gardens abound in Assam. Tea gardens are available in large number. So promises like mine, yes, I have made a promise which is not serious. I feel ashamed of it. But at the same time, such promises, the kind of promises that I have made, these are not new. Such people are often made such promises. During election, leaders come and say, we will do this and that for you. So false promises, hollow promises are made in large numbers to such people. In the life, these people in their life have got many such promises, false promises. People come, make promises. So the way I have made a promise, It is nothing new. Such promises abound. They are abounding. They are available in his life, in the bleak world, in every corner of his bleak world. Bleak, B-L-E-A-K, bleak, it means dark world. These people have darkness in their life. There is no light. There is no happiness in their life. So, for such people, their life is bleak, and in this bleak world, such promises are often made. Still, the author, although she said that the kind of promise that I have made is not new, I am not the only one who has made such a promise, but still the author she has self-respect. She is a different kind of human being. She feels bad for these people. She feels sorry for them. She sympathizes with them. So, she is feeling guilty that I have made a promise which was not meant. I made a promise which was not genuine. I never felt about it. But the boy asked, is your school ready? Then the author just said, it takes time, it takes longer, it is not that easy a job that immediately I can start one. In the next videos, we will find more information about how the author's relationship with these children, it grows, it develops into more intimacy, and we will get more information about Sahib, his life, and some other things. So, for that, we will have to wait to the next video. We are ending this video here. Thank you very much for being with me.